This German chocolate cake is made with layers of tender, moist chocolate cake, coconut pecan filling, and a delicious chocolate frosting. It's a classic cake made with traditional German chocolate, and you are going to love it. Hi, I'm Lindsay from Life, Love, and Sugar, and today we are making German chocolate cake. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is make our coconut pecan filling. It's gonna need some time to chill in the fridge and firm up. To start, we will add our evaporated milk and our egg yolks and vanilla extract. Let's mix those together real quick. Now we can add our sugar and our butter. And we will heat this over medium heat for about 12 to 15 minutes until it kind of starts to thicken and look almost a little bit pudding-like. All right, so it's looking good. It's starting to get a little bit pudding-like, which is what we want, starting to thicken a bit. Do keep in mind, it will thicken quite a bit as it cools and after we add our coconut and pecans. So to this, we will add our pecans and our coconut and a touch of salt for some flavor. And then we will stir all of this together. All right, so as it's starting to cool and we've mixed these things in, it's already beginning to thicken more, and it will thicken quite a bit as it sits in the fridge. All right, so while our filling cools in the fridge, we can go ahead and make our cake layers. We've got our German chocolate here. Fun fact, it's not called German chocolate because it's actually German like the country. It's because the man who created this specific blend of chocolate was named Samuel German. So we'll add our hot water. And we'll let the heat from that hot water melt our chocolate. Next, we'll combine our dry ingredients. We've got all-purpose flour, baking soda, and salt. Mix those together real quick, and then we'll set that aside. So now we'll add our butter to our mixing bowl and our granulated sugar. And we're gonna pop these on the mixer and cream them all together for 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice and light and fluffy. Now while this is creaming, I'm actually gonna check on my chocolate mixture and make sure that this is melting properly. If you find that the hot water didn't melt it enough, you can actually microwave it. So I'm gonna work on this while the butter and sugar are creaming. You wanna make sure your butter and sugar are fully creamed together. So it should be light and airy and lighter in color. So if you look over here on this part of the blade, you can see it's not quite as bright, almost like a creamy white. Over here, it's gotten a lot fluffier. It's come together a lot more. It's bright, it's beautiful. We are going to add our egg yolks one at a time. All right, now we will add some vanilla extract and sour cream. Mix that until it's well combined. All right, so now we'll add our melted German chocolate. You want to give the chocolate a chance to cool a little bit before you add it so it doesn't just melt the butter in your cake. You don't want to melt it right before you add it. All right, so once that's well combined, we are going to alternate adding our dry ingredients and our buttermilk. All right, so we did the yolks earlier. We're going to do our egg whites now. And we'll whip these on high speed until stiff peaks form. All right, so you know you have stiff peaks when you whip up the whisk attachment and you've got a nice stiff peak there that doesn't droop over really dramatically. So these are ready to go and we can add them to our batter. Okay, so we're going to add about half of our egg whites to our cake batter first. This will kind of loosen up the batter a little bit. You want to make sure that you're gently folding the egg whites so that you don't deflate them. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the egg whites. All right, when you have no more pockets of the whipped egg whites, now we can put this into our cake pans. All right, so I have 3 9-inch cake pans. I sprayed them with baking spray and I have a parchment circle in the bottom to help the cakes not stick. Now we'll spread this evenly into the pans. All right, so we'll go ahead and pop these in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. So once your cakes are baked and cooled, you're gonna make your frosting. This is like a fudgy chocolate buttercream, and we're actually gonna use German chocolate in the frosting as well. So add your butter. And we'll go ahead and pop this on the mixer and mix it up until it's nice and creamy and smooth. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add some cocoa powder and about half of our powdered sugar. We'll mix this all together until it's nice and creamy and smooth. All right, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of cream. All right, so now we will add our melted chocolate. It's had a chance to cool slightly so that we're not adding super hot chocolate into our butter and melting our butter. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add more of the powdered sugar. Mix this until it's nice and smooth and creamy. All right, so at this point, your frosting should be done, but if you start stirring it up and you find it's a little too thick, you can always add a little bit more cream to it. This has melted chocolate in it, so as that continues to firm up, you can just add more cream. And if you want, you can add a touch of salt. It just gives your frosting a little bit of flavor. All right, so now we have our frosting ready to go. All right, so I've got our cooled filling here. You can see it's nice and thick. So now we can go ahead and put everything together. And if you find your cakes aren't quite as level as you'd like, you can go ahead and trim the tops a little bit. So now we want to pipe a dam of frosting around the outer edge of our cake. That's going to hold our filling in. All right, so we're going to have 3 layers of the filling. There's going to be 2 layers in between the layers of cake and then more on top. So you're going to want to add about 1/3 of the filling here. All right, now if the chocolate frosting is sticking high up above your filling, you can level that out. So there's a nice level surface to set your next layer of cake on. And I'm gonna go ahead and level my next layer of cake so we can add that on top. We'll do another dam of frosting and another layer of the filling. I'm gonna add a thin layer of frosting to the top of the cake. All right, I'm going to use my Ateco icing smoother to smooth the sides. And I have a whole tutorial on my site on how I frost cakes if you would like to check that out. All right, so now I'm gonna pipe a border around the top of the cake. So for that, I'm gonna use this tip. It's the Ateco 847. So now we'll fill this in with the rest of our filling. So there you have your final German chocolate cake. It's moist, tender, delicious, full of flavor and different textures. I hope you love it. For the full recipe, head over to lifeloveandsugar.com.